Welcome to the Ontario Mortgage and Real Estate Insights podcast, your go-to source for the latest developments, trends, and regulatory changes in the industry. I'm your host, I'm Sandy, your guest host from Keller Williams Legacies, here to provide you with insights sourced from reputable news outlets to help you stay informed.
Steve Hamoan here. This is brought to you by Real Approved Inc., a trusted mortgage brokerage dedicated to helping Canadians achieve their home ownership dreams. Visit realapproved.ca to learn more about how our experienced team can assist you with your mortgage needs. Let's dive into today's episode.
All right, Steve, let's kick off our discussion today with some big news from Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. They estimate that for us to regain housing affordability levels seen back in 2019, Canada would need to double its current pace of housing construction. We're talking about building between 430,000 and 480,000 units annually over the next decade. That's quite a leap.
Absolutely, Sandy. And it's not just a simple matter of increasing numbers. Aleda Bjorworth, the deputy chief economist for CMHC, mentioned that achieving this would require a significantly larger and modernized workforce, more private investment, less regulation, fewer delays, and lower development costs. Plus, there'd need to be innovation in construction technology and growth in labor productivity.
That's right, Steve. It's clear that this isn't just a challenge for the housing industry, but a call to action for policymakers and the private sector alike. The Canadian Real Estate Association noted the benchmark price index for all housing was just under 700,000 Canadian dollars last month, which is down nearly 20% from its 2022 peak. However, back in 2019, that benchmark was just under 550,000 Canadian dollars. So there's a significant gap to close.
And Toronto in particular is facing a tough situation. CMHC says the city will need a 70% increase in home building over the next decade to address affordability issues, despite some increased rental construction in recent years. The region lacks home ownership options that match local incomes, which is a critical point of concern.
Vancouver and Montreal are also in the spotlight. Vancouver needs an estimated 7,200 units built annually over the next decade to see a 29% gain in housing, while Montreal faces the largest housing supply gap among Canada's major metropolitan areas. Since the pandemic, homeownership costs in Montreal have risen faster than in any other large metropolitan area when compared to local incomes.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has set a lofty goal to build up to 500,000 housing units annually across the country. However, Toronto Dominion Bank recently published a report questioning whether the government can meet these targets. The report suggests that current measures, like cutting the goods and services tax on new homes and lowering development charges, might not be enough to bridge the gap between what's currently being completed and the government's targets.
It's a complex issue, Steve. The TD report mentioned that while 400,000 new units might improve affordability, achieving that would require an unprecedented boost in productivity and a revolution in how housing is developed. It's a tall order, but one that could define the future of housing in Canada. The Bank of Canada has decided to keep its overnight lending rate steady at 2.75% for the third straight decision, Steve. After a series of cuts over the past year, this pause is leaving both commercial property professionals and consumers waiting eagerly for further changes. At this rate, it remains one of the lowest globally, which is quite significant.
That's right, Sandy. The central bank's decision is driven by several factors, including ongoing pressures on underlying inflation and the resilience of the Canadian economy. With uncertainty still high, the Bank of Canada is proceeding cautiously. They're particularly focused on the risks and uncertainties, especially given the higher tariffs imposed by the United States, which are impacting Canadian exports.
And these tariffs are not just affecting exports, but also how quickly costs are passed on to consumers, potentially affecting inflation. The bank is also monitoring how these trade disruptions might impact business investment, employment, and household spending. It's a complex web of challenges that the bank is navigating.
Indeed, Sandy. Many in the real estate industry were hoping for further rate cuts to ease financing for new housing construction. Some have expressed disappointment over the halt in rate reductions, which they believe could have energized the property market. Mark Feeder, president of Avison Young Canada, mentioned that he's not surprised by this decision, given the broader economic uncertainty.
It's interesting to note that consumer sentiment is also affected. A survey by MNP indicated that 2 out of 3 Canadians are in dire need of interest rate cuts. They're feeling the pinch as inflation rose to 1.9% in June. Financial pressures are mounting, with 64% of Canadians expressing a need for rate reductions to alleviate their financial strain.
And with inflation close to the bank's 2% target, Governor Tiff Macklem highlighted the unpredictability of U.S. tariffs, making it challenging to forecast the Canadian economy accurately. Andrew Grantham from CIBC noted that while there's an acknowledgement that further rate cuts might be necessary, the bank is waiting for more data before making any moves.
Looking ahead to September, several industry executives are hopeful that the central bank will reassess the situation and potentially lower the interest rate. They believe that a fall rate cut could stimulate more activity, especially in the industrial, multifamily, and office sectors. It's a waiting game now to see how the economic indicators play out. Our final topic today takes us to Winnipeg, Manitoba, where a significant step is being made towards addressing affordable housing. On National Housing Day, a groundbreaking ceremony was held for a $20 million affordable housing development in Winnipeg's Chinatown. This project is a collaborative effort between federal, provincial, and municipal governments, along with community leaders.
That's right, Sandy. The new development, called Shanghai Residence, is particularly aimed at newcomers to Canada. It's located on the former site of the Shanghai restaurant on King Street, a site that has been vacant for over a decade. The project will feature a 7-story building with 54 affordable housing units. This is a great example of how different levels of government can work together to address housing needs.
Absolutely, Steve. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham emphasized the importance of providing housing for newcomers, stating that having available housing makes transitioning into the community much easier. It's a sentiment echoed by Manitoba Housing Minister Bernadette Smith, who noted that Chinatown has historically been a landing place for newcomers. She mentioned that this kind of housing brings hope and stability, offering families a chance to build their future.
And it's not just about providing homes, Sandy. The financial contributions are quite significant too. The Federal Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation is investing $14.3 million through the Affordable Housing Fund. The province is adding $3.7 million from the Manitoba Housing and Renewal Corporation. And the City of Winnipeg is contributing through the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund and a tax financing grant. This kind of collaboration is crucial for making such projects a reality.
Ray Wan, the project architect and president of the Winnipeg Chinese Cultural and Community Center, highlighted that although the building is primarily intended for newcomers, it will also be open to other families in need of affordable housing. Construction is expected to be completed within 18 to 20 months, with marketing to prospective residents starting about a year from now.
It's a promising development, Sandy, and one that reflects a broader trend of increased focus on affordable housing across Canada. The hope is that similar projects can be initiated in other regions, addressing the housing shortage and providing more opportunities for families to find affordable homes.
Indeed, Steve, this project is a testament to what can be achieved when communities and governments come together to tackle the pressing issue of affordable housing. It's a step forward, and hopefully, one of many more to come.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ontario Mortgage and Real Estate Insights podcast. We hope you found today's insights valuable as you navigate the world of mortgages and real estate.
Before you go, a quick reminder. Real Approved is here to make your mortgage journey smoother. Whether you're buying your first home or refinancing, their experienced team is ready to guide you with personalized support every step of the way. Visit realapproved.ca to get started and take the next step toward achieving your homeownership goals. Catch you next time, and stay informed with the latest industry insights.